let's talk about conflict and how it affects your most important relationships. Now, I gotta tell you, I remember maybe it was in the first few months of marriage, this specific moment when Matt, my husband, made me really mad. Now, I don't even know what he did. I just know I was really mad about it. So I'm in the kitchen and I am just scrubbing dishes, just fuming, having an entire fight with him in my head that he knows nothing about. He comes into the kitchen and senses the rage radiating from the sink, and he asks me the most logical question. Are you mad? Now, what do most people do in this scenario? What do you do if you're honest? You say, no, I'm not mad. You start violently scrubbing even more. You're slamming dishes. You're slamming cabinets. No, not mad at all. Not mad at all. Feeling great. We're doing awesome. You're just scrubbing even harder. They're like, I don't know. I'm sensing that you might be mad. No, no. We're great, right? You do that, don't you? I know you do. And maybe if your spouse asks another 47 or 48 or 49 times, maybe eventually you will admit that you're mad. But by that time, you are so wired and fired up that the fight has escalated in your mind to ridiculous proportions. Or maybe you hold out so long that you're not mad that eventually he stops asking and you convince yourself it was never worth bringing up in the first place. Just sweep it under the rug, right? Just gonna keep the peace. We're just gonna sweep it under the rug. We're gonna be the bigger person. It's not worth fighting about. And you move on, and you know that resentment is still there. So when my husband came into the kitchen at this moment, and I am scrubbing the dishes, and I am very visibly mad, and he asks me one time, are you mad? I did exactly what I always do. I said, yes, I'm mad, and I'm mad at you. And here's why. I didn't like that you did this, and this hurt my feelings, and I didn't like this. And to this day, I have no idea what he actually did. I just know I was real mad about it. But in that moment, as newlyweds, my husband was shocked. He was shocked that he asked me if I was mad, and I was honest. Yes, I'm mad. That hurt my feelings. Yes, I'm mad. I didn't like that. Now, this is one area of life where I am not like most people. I don't mind conflict. Conflict doesn't faze me one bit. I don't mind engaging, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Because to this day, when someone asks me if I'm mad and I'm honest, yeah, I'm mad, I didn't like that. Or when I volunteer those feelings unsolicited, hey, I didn't really like that. Hey, that email, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, or that didn't sit right with me. Can we talk about it? People are shocked when I'm honest. Not offended. They're not offended, but they are shocked. Why? Why are people shocked when I'm honest? Or maybe you, if you're like me, when you're honest. Why are people shocked? Because we live in a culture of liars that say they're not mad when they are. We live in a culture where in the name of keeping the peace, we sweep everything under the rug over and over again. But let me tell you something, your rug is so full, no one can walk on it because that crap is still there. And it's eating away at you because you're not willing to engage in healthy, respectful, open communication, and healthy conflict. We live in a culture that doesn't know how to do conflict well. We are so scared of conflict that we shy away from it entirely, or we're awkward whenever we try to engage. And so normally we just avoid it. But let me tell you, conflict is not dangerous. In fact, the opposite is true. Lack of conflict can be dangerous. It can eat away at your marriage if you continually sweep things under the rug. As my friend Les Parrott says, all of those issues have a high rate of resurrection. They come back. They may come out next week. They may come out next year. They may come out in 10 years. But they didn't go away if you didn't address the problem with the person you love the most. Lack of conflict and lack of communication also eats away at trust and intimacy. If your spouse asks you over and over again if you're mad, and you are visibly mad, scrubbing the dishes so violently the dish is falling apart, and you continually say no, they know you're lying. That eats away at the trust between you two. You're being dishonest. It even puts a wedge in your intimacy, in your open communication, in your foundation that your marriage is built on. When we start to see conflict as a threat and as dangerous and as negative, then of course we're not going to engage in it. That's why we have to look at conflict as a positive. Healthy, open communication. Being willing to respect the other person enough to be honest. Honest about how you feel. Honest about what you need. Honest about what you're going through. Honest about how you disagree on some issue, and being willing to engage and lean in and clear the air and respect them enough and show them the dignity to work through it with them. That's what conflict is. It's just healthy, open communication. It's respecting the other person enough to show up and work through the problems that you have. Because just because you say there aren't problems doesn't mean there aren't problems. Just because you say you're not mad doesn't mean you're not mad. The truth is still there of what's going on in your relationships. And if you're not willing to engage in healthy, open communication, in healthy conflict to work through those issues, it's eating away at your relationship. It's damaging your intimacy. It's damaging your trust and your very foundation. But when you're willing to be honest, when your spouse comes home and you had a heck of a day and you seem frazzled and they say, "Are you upset?" And you go, "Yeah, I am. I thought you were going to be home an hour earlier and I was banking on it and dinner was ready and now dinner's cold and I feel disrespected because I thought you were going to be here an hour ago. So I'm pretty frustrated. Can we talk about it?" You are going to come through on the other side of that conflict healthier, stronger, closer, with even more trust between you. If conflict is done well, it actually brings you closer together. You know, I have a funny example of this because, as we all know, I am a very Enneagram 8 approach to conflict, and so I love conflict. Doesn't faze me one bit. I'm like, game on. Are we getting closer right now as we fight? I think we are. This is fantastic. Apparently, everyone else doesn't feel that way about conflict. So Rachel Cruz and I are very good friends, as most of you all probably know. And we go back and forth on Marco Polo. Like, we just talk and catch up on Marco Polo in between, which is an app on your phone, just a video chat app. We'll keep up on that in between our hangouts. Well, there was one week, this was several months ago, there was one week in particular where she said something that just hurt my feelings. It just did. And she and I have never had anything like that in our friendship. And so Marco Polo'd her back. I was like, "Hey, I know you didn't mean anything by it, but I just want you to know that kind of hurt my feelings. And I just wanted you to know, and we're close enough where I figure you can handle that. I just wanted to tell you that hurt my feelings." And Mark goes back. She's like, "I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Thank you so much for telling me." And that was that, right? Like, there was no back and forth. It wasn't a disagreement or an argument. It was just letting her know something that hurt my feelings. Literally like a week later, something happened where I hurt her feelings. And she marked me back. She's like, "Hey, we just had this conversation last week and it's so ironic because now I'm on the other side, but I just wanted you to know that you said this thing and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way and I just wanted you to know." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea I did that. It wasn't intentional," and so on. She Marcos me back. Marco Polo sends me a Marco Polo message back. And she goes, "I'm just so grateful for your friendship and how we can do conflict. Like, there's not a lot of people that I can do conflict with. And I feel such trust with you and such a closeness with you that, like, I'm safe enough to share with you something. You're safe enough to share something with me that we can do conflict well. I'm just so thankful that we can do conflict together." And I send her a message back. I go, "Girl, that wasn't conflict. That was just open communication." She was like, "You are such an 8. Only 8s would see this as this positive, fun communication." But really, any of us, in any personality style, whether you're a male or female, introvert or extrovert, we can look at conflict as an opportunity to engage, an opportunity to build trust, an opportunity to have healthy, honest, and open communication. And what I think you'll find, if you're willing to do this, if you're willing to be honest about how you feel, if you're willing to engage with the people that you love the most on this level, I think you'll find that not only does it improve your relationship, but the other person is actually even grateful for it.